Hello and welcome back to Jack Chaucer, Storyteller. Again, we're at Nikki White Polar Extremes is our book, and we got chapter 10 today called Filling the Crevasse from Nikki's point of view, January 8th, 2020. McMurdo Station, Antarctica. We finally arrived in Antarctica. We landed with an ungraceful series of thuds in the late night sunshine and somehow did not crack the sea ice runway of Pegasus Airfield. A huge ass C 17 Globemaster did not crack the ice in summer. Glaciers may be melting into the sea in West Antarctica, but East Antarctica apparently was still plenty frigid enough year round. We followed the herd of red parkas off the plain and onto the crusty ice, where the air was so cold and dry that it was hard to breathe through my nose. Fortunately, we soon boarded a huge red bus with gigantic tires, and the collective body heat of dozens of passengers steamed up the windows in no time. The bus rumbled over the flat ice toward what looked like a grubby hub of activity on the volcano darkened dirt of Ross Island. McMurdo Station, also called Mactown, was dwarfed by Mount Erebus, a 13,000-foot peak and the most southerly active volcano on the planet. Only its peak was shrouded in clouds and venting gas on this otherwise clear night, quote unquote night. A helicopter thumped and whirled overhead as the bus dropped us off in Mactown. Planting our boots on Antarctica proper for the first time, Thomas and I must have looked like two wide-eyed New Hampshire kids next to their unlikely big black dad, Roy. But even he seemed small under the endless sky on the bottom of the world. "This way, Martians," an old man suddenly shouted while other passengers laughed and walked past us. He was serious, with a stern face and a sturdy frame for a gray-bearded man. All he wore was a long-sleeved shirt, cargo pants, and boots in what had to be 0-degree weather or worse. "I'll show you to your dorms," he said, offering his hand to Roy first. "Welcome to hell, big fella." Roy smiled for the first time in months and shook his hand. "Flip some heat on down here," he said. "This is hot. Hasn't even snowed the past couple of weeks," he told Roy while giving me and Thomas the eye next. "Nothing but muddy streets round here. I can't wait to get to the pole and feel normal again." Roy shook his head. "You as crazy as everybody says, Mr. VW." "Call me Willem, Roy. Are these the two beauties my son airmailed to me?" the old man asked, nodding in our direction. "Couple of American troublemakers, yes, sir. Nicky Blue Janicek and Thomas Lee Harvey Oswald," Roy quipped. "Code blue and a dead assassin. Perfect. Okay, Roy, go get some food and sleep." "What building?" 135, two down from the galley. Put your bag in room 12 and grab a hot meal." Roy nodded toward the old man and then toward us. "Good luck," he said, heaving his orange bag over his shoulder and marching off toward a row of squat buildings. Trucks in reverse beeped in the distance as Willem van Wooten, Peter's father, sized us up. He was 6'2" or so, a little shorter than Peter, but he seemed more powerful in every way. And as his green eyes worked us over, I got the vibe that he knew way more about a lot of stuff than anyone else I had ever met. "Are you ready for this?" he asked Thomas first, stepping toward him and looking him in the eyes. "I love the cold," Thomas replied, reciting his new chorus with conviction. "Good. You'll bunk with me until we can hitch a Hercules to the pole. You'll find all the cold you could possibly want there." Then he stepped toward me. "And are you ready?" he asked. "So ready," I lied. "Good. You'll bunk with my wife. I heard she tried to feed you to the sharks last week." "But this guy saved you," Willem said, jerking his thumb toward Thomas. Thomas allowed a grin when I glanced at him. "He did," I acknowledged reluctantly. "Did you thank him yet?" the old man asked. "No." "Why don't you do it right now?" he pressed. This is Nicky's thoughts. Great. Didn't take long for the hazing to begin. Thomas surprisingly interrupted like a teacher's pet. "That's not necessary. I was just doing my job." My jaw dropped open and Willem studied me. "Do you know he shot me once, right? That he still wants to kill me?" I pointed out. The old man didn't really react at first. He remained pensive for a moment and then smoothly pulled a small black pistol out of his cargo pants' pocket and offered it to Thomas. He was so nonchalant about it that it could have been a pack of gum. I gasped, and Thomas raised his eyebrows. The bus and all of the other passengers were gone. It was just the three of us and a gun in an unloading zone. What could possibly go wrong? Thomas looked at the gun, but he didn't take it. Go ahead and grab it, Willem urged. It's loaded. Here's your chance to blow us both away and be on your merry way if you'd like. As my heart pounded inside my parka, Thomas seemed to sense this was a test. He still didn't reach for it. This is your last chance to be that person you were, Thomas, Willem said. Thomas shook his head, glanced down at his duffel bag on the ground, and then looked back up at the old man. I'm not him anymore, he said. I'm not going back to that. I fully exhaled for the first time in a long time. Are you satisfied with his answer? Willem asked me as he put the gun back in his pocket. Yes, I forced myself to say, though I was far too much in shock to deal with the reckless stunt he just pulled. Good. Now shake hands on it, and we'll call it a fresh start between the two of you, Willem declared. Thomas and I slowly turned toward each other, flicking our eyes up for a glance and down at our hands. We shook on it. Willem seemed pleased. See that? Another crevasse in relations filled and crossed by the bridge, he said, before waving us to follow him toward the dorms of Mactown. That's it for Chapter 10. Back for Chapter 11 will be Thomas's point of view again. Should be interesting.